Kamal, is Harika joining?
No, actually, she's a bit busy.
Okay, okay.
Just actually yesterday we have created one release here, but I don't know why it's not appearing yet here.
Okay, you have to edit it, Ramesh. Go ahead and click on edit. Yes, the definition of your release template will not be shown here.
Okay, okay, okay.
Okay, so let's get started. Meanwhile, Sunil will join. I think, yeah, Vaishak joined. Just add in Sunil as well. Today we have full attendance. Huh? Okay, so yes, let's get it started. Yes, Ramesh. So last class we were seeing the pre-deployment approvals, is it? I think we did not complete the pre-deployment approvals. So let's go ahead and actually see how it actually looks and how do we use it. Okay. So go to the icon which says the small boy kind of face, right? Before that, yes. So here, this is the option where you can go ahead and use your triggers. Okay. So triggers based on what? Like after this particular release, or you want to trigger it manually. Okay. So that is how your triggers will work. If you come down, right now we have triggered the release after the release. And if you come down, you see several other filters which is also available for you. The first one is your artifact filters. So what does your artifact filters will do is that this is a sample demo pipeline wherein we have only one type of artifact, but in the real time release pipelines you will have several other artifacts. That means you might use the what is that you might use the other artifacts as well from different repositories from different modules. So in order to use that, this artifact filters will be useful. Okay, so if you enable that, you will see based on what kind of filter you are going to use which type of artifact. Okay, right now under your ad you are able to see only one filter. Got it? So which artifact should be deployed to which stage, that is what you can go ahead and decide using your artifact filter. Okay, so right now you can go ahead and disable it, Ramesh. Yeah, schedule, as we have seen yesterday, schedule will be helpful when you want to automatically make this pipeline running on certain time. So the continuous integration and deployment will also enable you to run your release pipeline continuously, but only when you're doing some sort of changes to your particular repository, right? So that is resulting in your changes with your build as well. Correct? So once the release pipeline finds that there is a change in your build or a latest version of that build is done, then it will ideally execute your release pipeline. But in case if you want to keep this pipeline to be run based on a schedule on a daily basis or something, this might be useful because these kind of release pipelines will be useful if you want to make sure that you're updating your connection strings and your app settings in your real production release pipelines. Okay, because you don't know what connection strings will be updating in your underlying databases and your web settings. Okay, so that is where your schedule also will be important. Or schedule can also be used based on like whether you want to run that particular script daily in the morning or evening. In those kind of scenarios also your schedule will be useful, right? The third option which you see is called as your pull request deployment. That means whenever a pull request is happening, that means whenever you want to merge the changes from a certain branch to another branch, that is usually your master or develop branch, you should also involve that under your triggers for your release. Okay, so go ahead and enable your pull request deployment. So right now it is telling you that we don't have any trigger which is actually based on your pull request. That means we don't have any pull request changes. Okay, go ahead and disable it for now. We will be seeing this later when we are actually raising a pull request, and we will see how it actually works. Okay, so when you come down, there is an important thing that you will have to observe, which is called as your gates. Okay, so what is your gates and why it will be useful is because gates are a kind of block, or it is a kind of filter wherein it will enable you that until and unless you evaluate this deployment, it should not be going ahead and deploying in the actual server. Okay, go ahead and enable it. So usually gates will be applied to your gated builds kind of thing. Okay, so before you go ahead and apply this particular software package, because your artifacts is nothing but your build, and your build is equal to your software package in turn, right? So before you go ahead and apply or deploy your actual package, you want that particular deployment to hold on for some time, because you may have to check the availability of your virtual machines as well. Okay, so this gated builds will be useful when we are actually seeing the build with respect to your pull request as well. Okay, we'll be seeing this also after some time, after we go ahead and give the pull request as well. Okay, this is similar to what we have seen yesterday about your builds, right? Whenever we wanted to merge the request, once the check-in happened, when you want to merge it, before the actual merge, it will go ahead and create a temporary temporary path wherein it will create that particular build. It will see whether the build is successful with the changes. Only then it will actually go ahead and merge your changes back to your repository, right? Some similar to that with respect to your deployment. Okay, so come down, you have something called as your deployment queue setting, correct?
Hello, Jaishu.
Yes.
One sec. Hello.
Yes. Yeah, we are able to hear you.
Yeah, can you please explain it with the practical situation or scenarios, because it's bit because complete theory is a bit confusing, because we are not understanding where we are actually going to use these things.
Okay, yes. So this is just like an introduction, because whenever we are going to see the practical things, like you should not be in a confusion where this was done during the release pipelines explanation. That is why I'm just giving you the overview, so that we will be seeing all these functionalities in detail with the different pipelines that we are going to use.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah,
Then,
I do get your point.
then yesterday we discussed about this deploying an application, those things, and deploying a notepad kind of thing, like we are giving inputs over the file. Like I didn't understand, like even you had told like it will be created in the backend, it will be installed on a VM, but I didn't understand where the VM is installed. You told like it will be in our subscription or something like that you told, but
No. Yeah, correct. That will be a little confusing when you're actually working with your pipelines, because you don't know, like you're just adding the task, but you don't know where that task is executing, right? Say, for
correct.
example, I am giving a command line to list the number of files, but where it is going and executing that command to list my files, correct?
Yes, right.
Yeah, that is usually that's where your Microsoft hosted agents and your self-hosted agents will come into picture. Okay, so that we will see when we are actually seeing different kinds of pipelines, so that you will understand how it is running. So for now, where your task will run, there are two options. One, the server that you are giving from your private thing. That means in your physical location, like whatever your company is using, whether you want to give your on-premise details, or whether you want to make your own subscribed, like your own Azure environment, to make your build run inside that virtual machine, that is called as your hosted agent. Or if you don't want to do these two, you want to use the free service that is available from your Azure DevOps itself. That is your Microsoft hosted agents. So that what it will do, whenever you say that you are going to run a pipeline, it will on the go create a virtual machine or allocate a virtual machine which is free from the Azure DevOps resource pool. Okay, that is in turn your machine itself. So how will it know what type of machine is required? That is where in the build pipelines you will be seeing something called as your agent pools. Inside that agent pools, you will be selecting Azure pipelines. Inside the Azure pipelines, you will have the configurations like VS 2017, 2016.
Okay.
Okay, so okay, let's do one thing. Ramesh, can you just save this? We'll go back and just show Vaishak what it actually means. Okay. Yeah, go to the pipelines. Yes, go to our build pipeline. Yeah, select any of the build pipeline. Go ahead and click on edit. So in the edit, what happens is, yes. So you're seeing the tab is under your pipeline, right? So under your pipeline, you will name your pipeline and you will choose what pool to use to execute your tasks.
Okay.
Right now, we have selected Azure pipeline. That's where it is automatically allocating one of your Azure machines. And what should be the configuration for that machine? Can you just come down, Ramesh? Yes, that is the agent specification. Okay, and Azure DevOps by default will give you several parallel jobs time. Like it is not with respect to your how many virtual machines you're using. It is with respect to how many minutes your pipeline is running. Okay, so it will give you around 1,200 minutes free per month for your pipelines. After that, it will be chargeable.
Okay. Okay.
Okay, so this is where ideally you will get the idea where how your pipeline is running.
So it's like how many hours we are going to run this agent will be charged based on that.
Yes, how many, like how much of minute or time
Yeah.
your pipeline is taking to execute this particular flow.
Okay. Okay.
Okay, okay. In order to give that picture also, Ramesh, go to the pipelines. Yes, click on a pipeline. Click on one of the update like the run. Yes, this is usually called as your runs. Yeah, click on that. Click on your agent job 1. So what is the duration of your agent job 1? It is giving you 12 seconds, right? So
Yes.
for 12 seconds, your virtual machine will be allocated for you. So your time for this particular project for this month, for this pipeline is 12 seconds plus some 16 seconds plus something like that. So based on how much of pipelines you are running inside your project.
Okay. Okay.
Okay. Fine.
Okay.
I know this will be because this question will always hit your mind because that is why is that you don't actually see where it is running, right? So you just give the run and it all happens with all the steps. But where that step is executing, this is where is the actual.
Okay. Okay. So
Okay.
even that we installed that NuGet application, right? Even that is also
That is also
running in
in
that
one of the
NuGet.
machine.
Or that is also running in this agent only, right?
Correct. That is why we have to give all the dependencies and all the tasks when we are actually executing a application. Say, for example, if you are running the Java application inside your laptop, before you run your Java, it should ideally have your Java application in place. Or nowadays, because it is already comes with your package, it might run, right? But it will not be the same with your virtual machine that is created on the go. So in order to make sure that all our dependencies are installed first, that is required for our application, we are going to use the different steps.
Okay.
Okay,
Okay.
fine. Let's go back to our releases. Go to your edit release. Right. So now let's go to the, triggers are done. Deployment queue settings. Go ahead and click on the drop down. Yes, so deployment queue settings will be important when you are actually seeing the parallel deployments. Okay, for now, let's not see it because we'll come back when we are actually giving the parallel execution. Right now, it is having the queue settings for your deployment with only specific job. Okay, we are not saying the multi deployment jobs. Got it? So let's go back and see about your tasks. Okay, scroll your bar up and go ahead and cancel it. Yeah, you can disable the gates actually. We're not using the gates. Okay, go to your tasks. After your pipeline, the next tab of your pipeline. Not there. Above, yes. So here tasks will be specific to your stages. Right now we have only dev stage. That is where we are seeing the tasks with respect to that particular stage. Okay. So what is your ideal task means, or your job means? That is the number of tasks that you're running to that particular stage, right? So this structure will be similar to your build pipeline structure. Okay. So here you have your development properties, that is your stage name. And then if you go ahead and click on agent job, you will have the option to go ahead and add your jobs with respect to your deployment. Right? Say for example, the tasks usually that comes under this level will be with respect to your deployment kind of thing. Okay. Say for example, if you want to go ahead and deploy the Terraform scripts inside a particular environment or a machine, then you can go ahead and take your Terraform scripts. Or if you want to deploy that particular artifact, like whatever artifact we have referenced, if I want to deploy that particular artifact in a machine, or by using your Azure App Service also, we can use the Azure App Service deployment agent as well. So for now, let me just add a command line and show you how the task would look like and how your release would look like. And then we will be taking a sample project and seeing the code, the existing code that is written in one of the languages, and we will see how to create a build pipeline for that. How do we create a release pipeline for that? Okay. So right now you can go ahead and click on plus to add your job. Okay. Go ahead and click on plus. Yes, give command only, command line. So go ahead and give command. Yeah, add the command line, add it. Yeah, in the command line, just see what is the script. I think it will be to display the messages. Yes, that's fine. That's fine. Let us keep it as it is. Go ahead to your variables tab. So yeah, this is to go ahead and add your steps. Next, we will see about your variables, how your variables can be used under your release pipeline. Okay, so this variables is also similar to your build variables. So you have a list of predefined variables, you can use it. Or if you have anything to specify as a variable, that you can use it later in your tasks that you're adding to your particular release, you can go ahead and see the variables as well. Okay, go to the retention. So retention is how long you need to keep your releases, right? So this release will be created and it will store a particular release for your entire release pipeline. So how many days you want to retain it, that is your retention settings. Okay, go ahead to the options. So options will tell you about your release format. Like how we saw the build format, you also have similar to the build format as your release format, right? The release name as of now is release hyphen your revision variable. Okay, go to your integrations. Let us keep it as it is. You can add anything as you want based on how your release name should be represented. Okay, so here what is your integrations is that right now we are in the particular stage, right? So we are doing the deployment with respect to your dev. So whether this deployment should be added as a status to your work, should it be added to your boards, should it be added to your Jira, or should it be added to your status patch? Okay, so this is something which is like important when you're using your reporting kind of thing. Okay, because releases are something that is happening majorly, right? So you want to know what kind of releases are happening, and you want to have a link of that particular release to your specific tool. Okay, so go ahead and click on report deployment status to work. So whenever you keep this as work, it will inform you with respect to your work items. Go ahead and check this box for your boards as well. So it will tell you the deployment status, whether it is successful or whether it is failed or whether it is still running, all those things. Okay, so deployment type, go ahead and select the deployment type. Okay, yeah, you can select what type of deployment you're doing, whether it is for development or your production or QA, something like that, so that it will notify you based on that, right? So go ahead to your history. The next option, usually history will be to get the changes what you're making to your particular release. Okay, to know about your history of your activities, go ahead and click on save.
Yes,
So now, yes, Sunil.
I have a question. What is the difference between build variables and release variables? Is there any difference?
Yes, so usually build variables, if you're going to use a certain variable, like usually variables is why it is like a predefined value that you want to use in multiple places, right? So
Yes.
example of your release variable will be, say for example, you are using your app settings for your app server. Okay, so in that case, you don't want to expose your app server details, or the best example will be you're going to use your SQL database credentials here because you are going to connect your SQL database in release pipeline in one of your
Okay.
tasks. In that case, you don't want the password to be displayed in all of your tasks, right? So in that case, go ahead and add one more variable called as your name will be SQL database and database name. Password will be password and your actual password of your SQL database.
Okay. As per my understanding, in build variables, any build dependencies will add into the build,
Yes. So
right?
build variable example will be, say for example, if you're taking a .NET application, what will be your build option, right? Because it will be your debug option, whether you want to use it your CPU or you want to use it the other build option, you can use that. So similar like that.
Okay, okay. If we want to deploy in the app service or any web services in the release
Yes.
pipeline, we
Yeah.
need to pass the dependencies in the release pipeline, right?
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Okay,
Because
okay.
that is something related to your deployment. Build
Deployment.
variable will be useful when you're doing something with respect to your code, like your application dependent values.
Okay, okay. For generating the artifactory, dependencies need to pass in the build variables.
Correct.
Okay, cool. Thank you.
Okay. Fine. Let's go ahead and okay. Now our release pipeline is ready. We are going to create a run for your release pipeline. That is where it is called as your create release. Okay. Go ahead and click on create release. So now the first run is getting triggered for your release. Okay, and this pipeline has only one stage, that is called as your dev. Okay, and it is already automatic trigger, right? Go ahead and select the option. Like if you want to trigger it manually, you can go ahead and select the manual option as well. Check this box. Right now we are not going to like we have kept the option for trigger, automatic trigger, but if I have to see that, I need to go ahead and change something in my code, right? So right now let's go ahead and manually run this pipeline. Then we will see how the entire life cycle happens once you change something in your repository. Okay, come down and yeah, during the runtime, if you want to change the version of your application, right now go ahead and click on the version drop down, Ramesh. So now we have only one artifact. For that artifact, you have different versions. So you will have to choose your stable version of that particular application. Okay. So let it be the latest one itself and go ahead and give the create. So in case if you want to give any description for this release, you can go ahead and give. Otherwise, we can go ahead and click on create, right? So go ahead and click on release 1. So now you see that the first run for your release has been started. Yes, click on that. Just close this. Okay, so now whenever you are creating the release, it does not mean that it is automatically deploying to the different stages. Okay, once you go ahead and create the release, you have to go ahead and click on deploy to each of your environments. Okay, so now the first stage is our dev stage, and you're seeing it giving as you're not deployed, right? Go ahead and click on, yeah, hover on that, click on deploy. Okay, yes, come down. Yeah, click on deploy. So once you click on deploy only, your deployment will ideally start. Okay, go ahead and click on in progress. So this is the steps and the logs that will help you to understand what is actually going on. Okay, so this is similar to what your build also gave you, right? So build also gave you some sort of changes. Okay, so now let's do one thing. We have set up the build pipeline, we have set up the release pipeline. Now we want to know how the continuous integration and continuous deployment happens, right? So go back to your repos. Yes. So now go ahead and I think your build pipeline is dependent on the develop branch, correct?
Yes,
Go back.
yes.
No, yeah. Not there. Go to your repos and files. Yes. So here change your branch. It is in feature 1. Change the branch to develop. Yes. So here go ahead and make some changes in your test file in .develop. Okay. Did we apply any pull request? Oh, sorry, branch policies for develop?
No, we haven't applied.
Okay. Go ahead and make some changes like anything, CI and CD, something like that. Okay. Save it, like commit it. No, I think we have the branch policies enabled. Okay, go to your branches. Sorry. Yeah, develop, you see that symbol light. Yeah, go ahead and click on branch policies. Come down. Okay, build policy is enabled. No, that's where it is expecting you to create a pull request. Disable it. Come down. Yeah, that's fine. Go ahead and make the changes in your repository. Okay, commit happened, right? Go to your pipelines. Okay, now you see that your build automatically started, right? So let's wait for your build to finish. Once your build finishes and creates a new artifact, that is your new build, then your release pipeline. Yes, now it is done. Automatically a release pipeline will be triggered. Go to your releases. So now you see release 2 got generated, right? Click on release 2. Yeah. Okay, it got queued and it is waiting for an agent to happen, right? Whenever you're doing it as manually, because we already gave the trigger, that is why it is going ahead and executing your release. Whenever you're running your release pipeline, then it will ask you to deploy it based on your stages. Okay, so this is your complete flow of your CI and CD. This is a sample flow where we have actually not used any of the repository code or any of the application. We just went through how you can go ahead and build your pipeline, create your release pipeline, and how to see how the entire workflow happens. Got it? So once your workflow is done, like once your releases is done, if you want to see the variables that have been used in your pipelines, or your history and your different options with respect to your release pipeline, you can go ahead and explore the options after your releases as well. Because usually what happens is, if it is a testing pipeline, testing release pipeline, after the test, you might need to see what is the pass percentage that has been happened. Okay, so in that case, it will be important. Or if you want to go ahead and see your drop files, wherein you will actually see the number of files getting dropped into your deployment, Azure app deployment. Okay, so now let's go ahead and see a sample. One second, guys, my battery is low. Okay. So now we will be creating one more complete CI and CD project, wherein we will be seeing the actual code in that, and we will see the entire flow as well. Okay, got it? So let's go ahead and import the code that is required for one of the .NET applications. Okay, give me 1 second. I'll be giving you the link to go ahead and clone it. Okay.
So even we can use ARM template as well, right?
But ARM template is used for creating the resources in Azure, right?
Correct. No, I'm asking, can we use that or?
Yeah. Any kind of like any kind of script or any kind of like Jenkins job, your Ansible template, your Terraform template, all those things can be used in your CI and CD.
Okay. Now, assume if we have a task like 5 VMs needs to be created. So do we go via this pipeline concept, or we go via for loop and all the normal ARM template itself?
Yeah, if you're like, if the resources are minimal, you can go ahead with your ARS template. But pipeline will be used when you know that these steps will be used again and again later. Say for example, there is a team which goes ahead and creates around 100 servers on daily basis.
Okay.
With minimal changes, right? Maybe client name would be changed or the subscription would be changed on the go. So only little changes. If you are repeating the task, then this CA and CD would help you. Okay, because Terraform is also one such tool which will automate your infrastructure. In Terraform, what we usually do is that we don't follow the complete CI and CD. We follow the CI, because Terraform CI will be useful when we are actually modifying the code in our Terraform scripts. But CD is not really suggested, because what happens is CD means it is ideally executing your scripts wherein it might create the number of servers. Like manual intervention will be better when you're doing a CD with your Terraform, that is your infrastructure as a code. So I think the same thing will apply for your ARM also.
Okay.
Because this is something related to your infrastructure, right? So manual intervention should be better.
Okay.
Because if it is with respect to application, if something wrong is deployed also, you can revert it back. You can deploy the latest successful build. But your infrastructure will be like, you need to again drop the infrastructure, recreate it, which is not ideally the good solution.
Okay.
Okay. Yes. 1 second. I have Okay, so I'll be sharing the repository link wherein you can go ahead and migrate it. Okay. Give me 1 second, guys, because I forgot which repository is that. I'm trying to log into my GitHub account. Okay, got it. Okay, take this link and let's create a repository out of it. Okay, go to your Azure DevOps organization. You don't have the access. We need to import it to your repository, right? Go to your repos. Click on that option where it gives you import repository. In the Git Repo demo is there, right? So go to that drop down above to your develop. Yes, click on import repository, right? Yeah, Git URL, give it, paste the URL address. Oh, what happened? Okay, wait, you need authorization because it is in the other organization that you are going to use. Use this username and password. Click on requires authorization. You can even try just giving it. So it will not allow you to import your repository without the credentials because that is a private project, right? Yeah, give the PAT. PAT means your personal access tokens. We will be seeing how to create that as well. Okay, go ahead and click on import. So now your repository is getting imported. Yes, so this is a repository which is having your .NET Core application. Okay, so if you see that it is given .NET Core.git, right? So this is a .NET Core application. Okay, so now assume that this is one of your team's development source code management, and they will ask you to take this URL and create a continuous integration and build kind of architecture, right? So let's go ahead and create the build pipeline first. So now you know that your content is there in your repo. Go ahead and yes, click on your pipelines, click on new pipeline. Yes, go ahead and click on new pipeline. Okay, use the classic editor. Yes, select the source code. So here you're selecting the Azure DevOps Git, correct? And the repository, make sure that you're selecting pipelines -.NET Core Git. Come down, let it be master. Go ahead and click on continue. Okay. Then here you will have to select the particular template, right? So now it is a .NET application. You can go ahead and select the ASP.NET template. Wait, not the desktop one. Type in ASP.NET, select the core one. The above one is ASP.NET web application. The third one is your ASP.NET core. Yeah, select that. So these information you will have to collect from your development team. Okay. So when you select, by default, it gives you the tasks that are required for you to run your .NET core application. Okay. So now name, okay, let it be that only. Azure Pools, it is Azure Pipelines, and agent specification, it is giving you Ubuntu, but go ahead and select VS2017, 2016, right? Come down. Parameters, it is telling you to take the CS projects, and if any for the test application, we're going to use the tests. So this is the test with respect to your unit test cases. Unit testing. Okay. Go ahead and click on your restore. Just to make sure the steps that are present in your tasks. Okay. Not there. To your agent job 1, under agent job 1, you see the first task, which is called as your restore, right? Yes. Go ahead and click on restore. So what is the display name? Is your restore. What is the command used? Your restore. Because .NET applications use your .NET restore command to restore all your packages. Okay. And path to projects is linked. That is where you are able to see the link symbol, right? So, and the link, where did we give? When we were actually seeing the get sources. There we had linked .cs project, right? So that's where your linking is coming automatically to your paths. Okay. Next, you can go ahead and see your build. Because for all these things, the thing that you need to make sure is the path that you are giving for your .cs project and your .sln file. Okay. For ASP.NET Core, we will be using the .cs project. Okay. Build, you saw the path and you saw the command as well. Go to the test, the next step. Yes, you're seeing the test command, and what is the path to the project for test? That is your tests/star.cs project. Okay. So you remember the path that we gave during the get sources, right? And the arguments can be your build configuration, and few of the variables that will be used when you're actually building is your staging artifact directory. Staging artifact directory is a directory that will be created inside your virtual machine. That is your Microsoft hosted agent. Okay. Just to make sure that all your files resides in a single directory. Okay. Then go to the publish. Yes. So while you're publishing, the command is your publish, and what is your argument that you need to give for your publish? Come down your configuration with your build configuration, and what should be your output? That output should be pointing to your build artifact staging directory. Okay, so this is the temporary directory that will be created in your hosted agent, right? And the publish artifact, the next one. Publish artifact is using the artifact name as drop, so that whenever you run this build, you can see the output of your application in the drop down format. Okay, so once we run this, we will be seeing the drop down as well. Okay, go ahead and click on save. Make sure your triggers are enabled. Yeah, go ahead and click on trigger. Yes, give the continuous integration. Okay, let it be master because our code is in master. Go ahead and click on save and queue. Okay, the other options I'm not setting it up now. Okay, like first build or something. Go ahead and click on save and run. Just refresh this link. So usually whenever you're giving both the operations like save and run, it usually gives you starting run. Just refresh the link and you will have to queue it again. Only your save operation would have happened. Go ahead and click on queue. Queue after your summary. There is an option called as queue, right? After your summary with your run option. Yes, exactly. Click on agent job 1. So here you can see the steps that is being performed in your agent job. Okay, the agent job right now we have given the pool as your Azure pipelines and the image as your VS 2017 Windows 2016. That means the underlying machine is your Windows machine. And the queue time is because it has to allocate one of the available machines for your build to run. Okay, that is where you have to wait for it to get allocated.
So now the build is happening, right?
Yes. Now the build is it did not actually start the process. It is waiting for the machine to be available. Yeah, now it actually started.
So for all the templates, these options will be there, huh? Like restore, build, test, publish.
No, that's the difference. Like this is a .NET Core application. That's why we selected a template called as your .NET Core. Okay, but it will be based on what kind of application or what kind of language you are using. Okay, so the selection of this template will come based on the experience. The most commonly used templates will be out of the box. Say, for example, for .NET application, whether it is your ASP.NET using your .NET framework, or whether it is a ASP.NET with Core, and whether it is a web application, you have all the templates ready. Not only with respect to your C#, you also have the templates ready with your Java applications, Node applications, Jenkins application, Terraform application, Ansible application. Okay, so if you want to see the inbuilt tasks or the templates that are available, you can go ahead and look at when you're actually adding your tasks, right? Where you saw the empty job, if you go ahead and search there, you will see the jobs that are available. That means your tasks that are available. Okay, so now it is telling you that your build is successful. Go ahead and click on one artifact produced. The 11th line, right? There is a hyperlink there. Go ahead and click on one artifact produced. Not there. After that, after the publish. Or you can even, yeah. You can even click on the agent job one to see the artifact. This is to show you the artifact that will be shown as a drop down. Yes, click on that.
So based on artifacts only, the continuous deployment will happen, right?
Exactly, exactly. Yes.
Okay.
So if you maximize this or click on the drop down, so here you will see the actual files that is being deployed out of your solution. Okay, so this is the end files, like DLL file that is usually required for your application to run.
Okay, so these are all the files which are happened after the build, right?
Yes, yes.
Okay.
So these files are your files that can be taken and put it in the server for your deployment. That means for your site to work. Say for example, this is a web application. You have all these files. If you take this file and put it in your IIS server, if you're using your Windows application, then it would ideally work in your web URL. Okay, so we will be seeing how that also works along with your Azure App Service. Okay, so we will be seeing the release pipeline in the next class because it needs your Azure portal access. Like I want you to create a Azure portal subscription and we will be creating a Azure App Service for deployment.
Okay, fine.
Okay, so that we will also see how to make use of your release variables as well.
Okay.
Okay, and I'll also be showing you how I am using my build pipelines and release pipelines to deploy my applications. Like we have around 20 applications. So how we manage inside the portal as well. So that in the bigger view, you will get to understand why we are doing all these things, whether we are really using this in company wise. Yes, in order to see that, let's complete this and then I will show you how it is working in my project.
Okay, fine.
Okay. So yes, thank you. Because if I start now, it will take another 20 minutes and I have a call at 9. That's the reason we will continue tomorrow.
Okay, so any homework for tomorrow?
Homework is, okay, we discussed about environments, is it? So homework will be to create your Azure portal. If you don't have your Azure portal, go ahead and create your portal and add a environment. Like as of now, we have given a none environment. Go ahead and add your resources. Maybe you can create 2 virtual machines, add those virtual machines here to your environments. Okay, later we will be seeing about your libraries, task groups, and your deployment groups as well. Okay, right now you don't have any resources.
Yeah. So actually, where we have to add these virtual machines here?
Go ahead inside that environments.
Okay. Okay.
You have add resource.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. That's fine.
Okay. I think yeah, that's all for now. But go ahead and revise the different functionalities of your release. Okay, and try to create a complete structure of your CI and CD because this is like a process flow that you need to know. This will be similar to any kind of applications. Okay.
Okay. Fine.
Tomorrow we will be seeing about how to deploy this particular application to the Azure App Service. After that, we will be seeing the tools wise, like how your Terraform will work and how do we create a complete CI and CD with respect to your Terraform application, Ansible, Jenkins, Docker, Kubernetes.
Okay.
Okay. That will take a lot of time anyways, because you need to understand first, learn the tool, and see how that tool will be useful in Azure DevOps.
Okay. Fine.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you, guys. Bye.